Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on part 3 of our gorgeous Easter bag. It's a pouched Easter bag. It's not just your average one, is it? Check it out. And you can use this for other things. Now between you and I actually used it to keep my yarn in when I was working. Shh, don't tell anyone. You can't put it in now because I've got the Easter eggs in there. But I also, every now and then when I went to cut a thread, I just popped my hook in there and cut the thread and then picked the hook back up and worked. But that's what I did. Anyway, you don't need to do that. That was just a little trivia there. Now, what I did use altogether for the bag, just in case you haven't made it yet, I used 100 grams of your white and I used 20 grams each of your colours. So that's 2 5s at 10, that's 100 grams of the colours and 100 grams of your white. But I ended up buying 500, no I didn't, I ended up buying 250 grams worth of white because I wanted to work on 3 skeins at a time. So there you go. But there it is, it's all done, all finished, yay. I'm not going to talk anymore guys because like all of my tutorials, they do go for a long time. What you will need though is your scissors, your hook, a gazillion stitch markers, and I did use 2 darning needles here. You don't see me weaving all the ends. I send you off on your own. I start them and then I send you off on your own. All right. So there you go, guys. I'm not going to talk anymore. We're just going to get started making part 3, which is doing the last 3 rows here and the handles of our Easter bag. Good luck, guys. Alrighty guys, where I left you off last time in part 2 was about here. So in between each stitch marker, from that stitch marker to that one, there should be 16 stitches. If you're one short and you don't want to fix it, you can fudge this part. Alright, no problems there. However, it is better to have the right amounts in each section. So 16, 16, 16 and 16, that's how it should be. So don't worry too much about it now. You will need numbers later when we are doing the handles. All right. In the meantime, all I need you to do is to find from this stitch marker here, find 8 stitches across. So that stitch marker is 1, 2, 3. No, that's too far away. Hello. Hello. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3. You're counting the little V's. Now this V is really tight in there, but it's there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you're popping your hook in that 8th stitch. Now that is where, after we finish these next 2 rows, that is where your handle, one of your handles is going to start. That's why I've left it there. So just grab your 3 strands. We're still working in the round like we have been doing all along. Let me just fix this up a little bit. There we go, that's better. It's very hard for you to see now because the bag is too tall. Oh, it's too much in the way. Let's push it down that way you can't see. All right, now what you want to see is the stitches. So all you're doing is pulling your loop through. Now this row, very simple. This row is like a repeat of the row that we've been doing all along where we go across and we chain 2 there. So a very simple row. You're chaining 1, tightening up that stitch. You want a nice tight stitch in there, pull that little there, and then you do a single crochet in the same space. And you've been doing this all along, so you know what you're doing. You can pop a stitch marker in there if you like. I haven't got one handy because I don't know what oh, hang on, here we go. Here we go. We've got one handy. We've got a yellow one right here. Yay. Pop your stitch marker in. Hello. You had one job, Mary. All right, here we go. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to crochet over that tail, and all you're doing is going through every stitch with a single crochet until you get to your first stitch marker. Oh, I think that's enough. Oh no, one more. We'll do one more. There's only 3. We'll do another one. You don't have to crochet over the tails if you don't want to, okay? Because we are going to weave those in later as well. You're going to weave those in later. Sorry. So, I'm so naughty. Single crochet all the way across, like so. We're almost there at stitch marker, and there you go. One more. And you're going to do the exact same thing you've been doing all along, just for this round. The next round's going to change. So in that stitch right there, you are popping a single crochet. Put your stitch marker in, like so. All right, now from here, you know this part here, all we're doing is chaining 2. 1 and 2. And notice how I left them a bit loose, because we're going to be putting single crochets in there in the next round, okay? So single crochet into your stitch marker stitch, like so. Pop your stitch marker back in there. It's just to remind you that there's going to be a stitch. You're going to be doing 2 single crochets in there, and there's going to be a stitch directly after it for the next round. You will need to know that, okay? So just keep going all the way in the round. And that's pretty much all you're doing. Now, you've been doing this all along for the past few rows anyways, so I'm not going to show you anymore. All you need to do is single crochet in the round, get to here, chain your 2 nice and loosely, single crochet in the round. When you get back to this stitch marker right here, stop there and I shall meet you up. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. I have one more stitch to go, like that. Right there, and there you go. Now we're going to slip stitch to join directly into that stitch that we first started with. You might want to take that stitch marker out, it's a bit tight there. I've messed up. Look at that loose stitch right there. You know how many times I've taken this undone? Shh, don't tell them. It's our secret. All right, let's try that slip stitch again. Pull the loop through and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Chaining 1, just give everything a nice tug there, and then you single crochet in the same space. Really important to add a stitch marker here. Alright, well, it doesn't really matter because when you slip stitch at the end of the row, you will be there. Alright, this row, super duper easy, 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 easy. Just, you know, if it's really thick and fiddly, well, you know, that big thing in the middle there is fiddly. So all you're doing is single crocheting all the way across the row. How easy is that? You are not doing chains. What you're going to do in a minute, and let me do this first and I'll show you. Get to the stitch marker, do your stitch in there, not there, we're not there yet, we will be in a second. Right now, you're going to do your stitch in that stitch marker, like that. And we're done there. Now these 2 chains that we did before, we are going to do single crochets. Let me get a nice close-up for you. All right, here we go. See that right there? Single crochet in your first stitch. And single in your next, and I keep coming out of frame. Let's just bring that out a bit. That's easier for you to see. Single in your next. So you're putting your 2 single crochets in those chains. Wait, go back. That's the first single, that's your second, and that's where your stitch marker was. You may not need this here, but I still want you to put them both in because later we're going to be counting back our 8 for our handles. All right, so what you do, take that stitch marker out, pop a single crochet in that stitch right there. Pop your stitch marker back in. Again, you probably won't need it, but you will for the counting over 8. All right. Later, not now, but later. And then you're single crocheting across the round, and that's all you're doing. Single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. And I don't want this tutorial to go for a very long time, so you pretty much know what to do. Plus my yarn's getting all tangled there. Shh, don't tell them, they won't know. You know what to do. No, why? Because look at this. Watch. Shh, don't tell them. All right, so that's what you're doing. You're single crocheting all the way till you get to your stitch marker. Then you do a single crochet in the first stitch, single in your next, single in all of them across. Don't forget to pop your stitch markers back in. Get to your next stitch marker, single in the first, single in the next, and back over all the way through until you get to this stitch marker. Go ahead and do that now and meet me back here and get ready for handles. Yay! Very exciting. Alrighty, so here we are at the end of the row. I'm just going to I've actually done my last stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch into that stitch. You know what, take the stitch marker out. That might help. Let's take that out. Try it again. Slip stitch into the stitch where you had your stitch marker, pull a loop through, pull it through to the loop on your hook, giving everything a tug, chain one, pull up your loop and get ready for your handles. But before we do our handles, see these pink guys? You need to weave them in. Now I left them till last because what I want to show you quickly is maybe weaving those ends in under your white. You can actually sew them back in there, or you can just sew them down into your pink. It's entirely up to you. You need to weave those two ends in and those two ends in, and join me back here in a moment and get ready for your handles. Get excited, guys, because this is going to be the final part of your Easter pouch bag. Weave those ends in and I'll meet you back here in a moment. Alrighty guys, where you should be is right there. Okay, all your ends should be weaved in because this, guys, is the end. Well, no, not yet. It's still got a little bit to go, but there you go. This is where we are going to start the handle of our bag. So we have done, oh, you know what? I took this out and I probably shouldn't have, because I'm going to show you the measurement on the other side. In fact, I'll use the yellow for the other side. Let's pop that there. All right, so we're here. Yes, let's just spread your bag open like so. Directly on the opposite side is where this handle is going. Okay, can I bring that out anymore? No. So directly on the opposite side. So turn your work to the opposite side. And if you're not sure, you'll notice your stitch markers there. It's right across. But we need to go 8 over like we did before. Yeah. So you start from here, your stitch marker right there. And you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pop your stitch marker in there. All right. So once you do your chains, you're going to slip stitch into that or single crochet into that. I can't remember what we do now. Wait until we start doing it. My brain tends to, hello, I'm thinking single crochet. Take out your stitch marker. All right, here we go. From here, I'm just going to squish the bag down because I don't want that to be in the way while I'm working. You're going to chain one and do a single crochet in the same space as your chain one. I know white's very hard to see online, sorry guys. Single crochet like so. Okay, I would put a stitch marker in there. Oh, look what I've done. I'll skip the loop there. Here we go. I'd put a stitch marker in there as well, just in case. You probably won't need it. I don't think you will right now, but we'll do it there anyway. So for this part here, you want to turn your bag this way. And you want to keep these chains as straight as possible. So when you slip stitch in there, if you turn them, it'll be the wrong way around when you're crocheting over the chains later. So keep it as straight as possible, okay? So you are chaining up, just try 20 for now, and we'll see how tall it goes because we are using 3 strands. So chain 1, whoops, and don't make these too tight because you're going to be doing single crochets in them. Chain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Have a feeling that's not going to be tall enough. So let's go to 25 and we'll see how that goes for us. All right, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now remember, these are very thick stitches. Okay, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think that's plenty now. All right, here we go. There's the opposite side of your work. Keeping your work very straight, which I didn't. I've messed it up, so good on you, Mare. All right, so keeping it really straight that way. Popping your yarn towards the back a bit, and just stick it in your stitch marker stitch and do a single crochet, like so. Single crocheted into the first one, like that. All right, single crochet, easy. And this is what you should have now. All right, and let's see if I can get it closer. I'm going to pop that little bunny in there so you can see. All right, so there you go. It's really tall now, but that's okay because you want to be able to pop your arm under it and walk around like that. So I think that's perfect. All right, so here we are now. Yes, from here, we're going to turn our work and we are going to work along these chains right here. So I may have to get a close-up for you so you can see. From here, the way it works is we're going to work on either side of the chain. I should say both sides of the chain. So really, you really need to pop your first single crochet in one loop of the chain. Not in two loops, just in one loop of the chain on this side. Okay, so there's your first single crochet in that one loop. 1, 2, and 3. Right, I'm just going to pop this. No, I've split the yarn on that one. And I want to make sure if you're using 3 strands that you get all 3 strands. 3. So what I'm going to do is get you to do, this is your 4th one, do your single crochets all the way up to just before the stitch marker, and I'll meet you up there. All right, so go ahead, do those stitches, and I'll meet you up in a moment. Alrighty guys, where you should be is here. Before we continue, however, what we want to do is put our stitch markers on that side now. We've got this side done, and now we want to do the opposite. So just grab yourself 2 stitch markers, and from this center, this part where your last stitch marker was, you know these 2 here, just count back 8. So you go count forward 8, sorry. So you go 1, it's including your stitch marker. I'm too far away, aren't I? It's including your stitch marker. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Tight stitch right there. Yeah. And then come over this way, move your bag around for a minute. All right, just the way it is, just leave it the way it is. All right, so your stitch marker here, you're going to do exactly the same because that's where your stitch marker is, and you want to be the opposite this side, don't you? So from this blue stitch marker, you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pop your stitch marker in there and leave it there for a moment. All right. This is where you are at the moment. All right. So it starts to get a little bit awkward here, but we'll do it nice and slowly. What you're going to do here, you're going to pop in. You would have done 34 single crochets across here, or maybe 35, depending on when you put, whether you've done your last one or not. I haven't, so I'm going to do my last one. I might take out that, oh, I'll leave the stitch marker, I need it there for later. It's a little bit awkward, but we need it for later. That stitch right there is my last one. That is 35 single crochets. All right, then what I want to do, I want to single crochet into that very next stitch, like so. All right, just quickly show you what I've done. We crocheted along there, we single crocheted there. Now we're going to turn the bag towards us. When we do this part to here, we're going to be finished this side completely. All right, so we can take out those stitch markers here. the first two we have. We don't need them there anymore because this side of the bag will be done. All right, so from here you are single crocheting over to your stitch marker where you're going to start your other handle. All right, are you ready? Let's go. Single crochet all the way across and just keep going all the way across like so. Okay, I'm not going to put this on fast motion, or you're not going to take off on your own. We're just going to go across. Now you remember how many chains we chained on for the first handle? It was 35 chains. You're going to do exactly the same once we get to that stitch marker. And at the moment your handles are going to be loose, but we're going to attach them eventually. Whoops, like that. All the way across. Here we go, here we go. And I've got hair in my bag. Of course I have. That adds to the quality, you know. Oh. All right, here we go. We've got one stitch left. I'll do my stitch there. Let's get a nice close-up of this part right here. And there we go, like so. All right, so take out your stitch marker because that's your very next stitch. And in that stitch, you're going to put a normal single crochet. Yes, like so. All right, turn your bag this way. That side is now complete. You don't need to do any more crocheting on that side of your bag. Now we are going to chain our 35 yet again. So go ahead and do that. I'll put this on fast motion for you. $34 and $35. All right, now remembering to keep your stitches straight all the way over to there and slip stitch into your stitch marker. If you haven't kept it straight, you know, you just have to take all those single crochets undone. Oh, sorry. All right, there we go. There's your stitch marker. Oh, I've moved it. Now I don't know what I've done. Okay, let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is right here. I knew I'd moved it. Hello. All right, so you're doing a single crochet in there. Yes. Turn. Single crochet. Oh, sorry, I should have shown you that. We single crocheted into there, right? And then we turned our work a little bit. Single crocheted into the first one, like that. All right, turn your work. And you're going to single crochet across like we did before with the other side of the handle. And remember, we're only going in one loop. So we're skipping that single crochet because that's the first one we did. And now we're just going to do a single crochet in that stitch, top stitch right there. Just the one. Oh, I've gone through two. Let's try it again. There we go. Just the one loop only. Remember? So there's your first one. And your second. Yes. And your third. All right. So just keep single crocheting all the way across. Okay. Get to the other side right there just before the last stitch, and I'll meet you up. Alrighty guys, what you should have is 34 stitches across, or 35 if you haven't finished. I mean, if you finished. Get it right, Mary. Here we go. There's my 35th stitch, like so. Okay, and then what we did before, remember, we single crocheted in that stitch right there, like so. The one next to it, yes, like that. Turning your work to the side, And this time we're going to single crochet across here, and when we get to this side right here, we're going to slip stitch and cast off. So what you might want to do is take out these 2 stitch markers. You don't need them there anymore. We're done with this side once we finish this section. You're going to wonder how the rest is working out, aren't you? Oh, don't worry, it will work out. It's a bit unorthodox, but it works. Single crochet all the way across until you get to the other side of your handle, the first side of your handle, that is, your first handle that we made. There. Okay, we've got one more stitch before that. See, your single crochet, the first one you did is in there. Oh, we're too far away, aren't we? How's that? That first stitch we did is there, so this is your last stitch right here. You should have had 16 across. So now what you want to do here, okay, bring that out a bit, just pull up your loop a little bit. You're going to cut this right there, okay, and like this. Remember our thick needle? Let's just move everything out the way so you can see what I'm doing. Just grab your little ends like that, pop it through your really big needle, yes, and this is the way you're going to do it. All right, so remember this is where your stitch is in, yes, you're going to pop your hook through the back of that stitch, like so. Make your threads a bit longer than I did. Okay, and then you're just going to pop your hook through the whole stitch this time of this one right here. Okay, then what you're going to do from here, you're actually going to pop your hook through the back of your handle stitch, through the whole stitch like that. Nice and tight. My ends don't match up. I want your ends to match up. So if you pull it nice and tight, it closes it all in there. Then what you need to do is just weave in your end. And I don't know if you want to do it this way or if you want to take them undone and weave them in separately, which I might do. I might do that later. I'll take them undone and I weave them in separately like that, and they'll go down into here. I won't actually weave it across into the handle. All right, so that side of your work is actually complete. Okay, from there to there, it's complete. From there to there, it's complete. So all of this side of your work is complete. Now, we're going to turn our work to the side and we're going to start attaching our thread to the opposite side of our handles. All right, now I'll explain that to you in a minute. I'll get it nice and close in a minute, you can see. All right. Okay, so this is where we ended off, right here. Right there is where we ended off. Let me nice close up for you. That's where we worked and that's where we finished off right there. Now, remember our stitch marker that we put into one of the handles? This is where we're going to work on this side, all right? All right, so there's our stitch marker. We're going to pop our hook in the stitch marker. Oh, where's my threads? Oh, I've lost my thread. Here we go. Grab the thread, your 3 strands again, and pull it through like normal. We're still working with our 3 strands. Just going to lock that into place there. Chain 1, nice tight chain right there. Yes? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this very awkward now. Sorry guys. All right, remember how we put our single crochets in that one loop only on the other side? Now we're going to pop it in both loops. All right, so single crochet in that first single crochet. Yes, single crochet in the both loops. So you're actually just putting it in between the stitch and the chains. Your stitch from this side and the chains from this side. So off you go, doing your single crochets all the way across your bag. Super duper easy. Now we're going to do this part together, and I'll tell you why. Just this row, and on the other side of the bag you can do on your own, because you know you'll be good at it by then. Listen to me, you'll be good at it by then. Because when you get to roughly around the middle, you kind of have to jump under, and if you jump under, your thread is going to pull. So your best bid is to let go of everything. All right, now grab your threads. Yes, and what you're going to do, it's very tricky because we've got 3 threads at the moment. I'm going to grab all 3 of them and just pass them under this loop right here. Okay, the top one. So now you're working this way. You're still working, but your handle is on the other side. It's a little bit awkward because we're working with, you know, not corresponding, we're working in opposite handles. So it's a little bit awkward, but just this one section, and that was it. All right, the rest, we're just going to keep going along the side. Well, the side, the back, I don't know what you want to call this section. Oh, I think no, it's okay. It looks like you split the yarn sometimes because we've got 3 strands. Oh, I am splitting the yarn. All right, let's keep going. Come on, woman. You have one job, just to get across the row. Oh, I don't know what to do with me. All right, so just keep going all the way across. Making sure we're getting in and around the both stitches. All right. Get excited, guys. We are literally almost at the end of our bag. Oh, split some yarn right there, right there. Can you see that? Oh, that's terrible. Very bad, very bad. Here we go. Now we're under control. Almost there, guys. Just making sure everything's okay and you haven't pulled threads anywhere or missed the wrong stitch or done something, because this is the end of your work. And once you cast off, you really can't take this undone. You'd have to literally cut it to take it undone. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to cut into your work. Oh, I've done that many times in the past. It happens, you know, when I've tried to take something undone and I've just literally cut right into the work and I've had to take more than 3 or 4 rows undone. You know, it happens. All right, we're near the end. Here we go. Near the end. Almost there. Let's see if I can get a close-up for this part here for you. Oh, white is awkward. The bag is awkward. It's all awkward, isn't it? There we go. Let's try that. All right, so on my last 3 stitches, I think. Let's have a look. Yep, that one there. And there's one more. Actually, that's the stitch that we're in, but I'll go into that. Oh no, that's actually a stitch there. Oh, here's a stitch. It's really tight. I think I might have... There we go. It's very tight. I don't know what I did there, but anyway. All right, from here, you're going to jump straight into that very next stitch. Right there. Like that. So you're doing a single crochet in that stitch right next to you. Yes? And then you're going to turn your bag over. That will be the last of this section. So take out your stitch markers. You don't need these anymore. Okay? You're physically going to get right over here, and that will be the end of this row. Okay, let's bring that up. And here we go. Single crochet right across until we get to the next handle, or the next side of the handle, if you will. I'm sorry, I'm too far in, aren't I? Sorry, guys. But you know what you're doing here. It's just single crocheting all the way across. We're almost at the handle now anyway. So here we are, right here. There's your handle and there's your last stitch. Pop your single crochet in that last stitch. Now, do you remember what we did before? We lifted up our thread like that. We cut our work. Pulled the loop out. Just grab your thick needle, thread them. Yes. Now, remember what we did? That's the stitch. We went through the back of that stitch right there. Pulled the loop through like that. Oh, this is too short. Okay, pull the loop through like that. Then we went back into the stitch like so. Just tightened everything up. Now what we want to do, we're going to go back into it because I find it's pulling a little bit on this side. It might be because I don't know, when it started off that way. We're going to go back into that stitch just for a second. I'm just finding it pulling a little bit. So now that's kind of popped it all into place. And let's just find another stitch to go into and pull it through the back. That'll keep it from moving. There you go. All right, turn it around, weave it through a few stitches. I'm just going to go through, I might just go down the back for now, like I did before, and then weave that in later. And I want to weave them in separately later. All right, and the reason is I want more reinforcement, so I'm going to weave that in separately later. All right, but in the meantime, that from there to there is complete. From there to there is complete. Now this part of the bag, right there, we have to do the opposite side, which is not that side, it's this side right here. All right, now if you're not sure, this is the right way. Look at your stitches on your bag. See those stitches? It's facing you, right? The little V's. When you turn it that way and you're looking at it, it's facing that way. Yes? So if it's facing that way, my fault, I didn't put any stitch markers on. Or actually, there is a way you can tell. Your stitch markers that are here. Your stitch markers are on this side. So when you come across this way, that will be finished, which means this is the side we're working on. All right, that's the side we're working on. So grab your hook, pop it in that little stitch. Let's get everything out of the way so you can see what I did there. I'll do it again. So you're popping it in your stitch there. Yeah. And you're getting your 3 strands again. Oh, I hope my yarn holds out. I think it will. I think I've got plenty left, which is good. All right, so just pop your threads through there like so, grabbing your little tail ends, passing it forward. A little bit messy, a little bit awkward, but here we go. Chain 1, and you're going to pop this tail at the back, single crochet again in every stitch that you come to. Remember, we're going through both the loops this time. All right? In every stitch that you come to. I'm just going to pop this on fast for you because we're almost finished at the end of this. So I'm going to pop it on fast and off you go. All right, we're near the end of the row, guys. Okay, that was my last stitch, I think. Let's have a look. Yes. So what you're going to... Oh, no, it's not. There's one more. Oh, no, that's right. Is it right? No, there's one more. Right there. Get it right, Mary. Get it right. Oh, splitting that stitch. Let's try it again. And there you go. From here, you're going to pop your hook, not in that stitch because that belongs to that stitch there. You're going to go into the very next stitch like that. All right. And then you're going to single crochet across, hold it there for a second. Before you do, you're going to take out these stitch markers. and single crochet across, get to this spot right here. I'm going to do it together. There's no point running off now. Not while, oh, look what I've done. Oh, come on, Mary. Let's go. No point rushing off now because we're towards the end. Single crochet in there and there. Is that too far? Doesn't matter because you don't have to see much because all we're doing is single crocheting across. Oh. Okay. Alrighty. Almost done, guys. Can you believe the Easter bag is almost finished? And someone asked me, what else can you use your bag for? Well, yours truly has been using to keep the yarn in, by the way, while I've been working. I have, but not on air, just off air. So you could put anything in your bag, really you can, okay? Okay, here we go at the end of the row. We have one more stitch right there, like so. We're going to pull up a loop and we are going to, yep, you guessed it, cut it. Grab your darning needle, pull those ends out. I just gave that work a little bit of a tug because that stitch was really loose there. And if it's too loose, it's no good. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to go through the back of that, let's get close up again, the back of that stitch where your bag is in, whoops, like so. And just pull everything in, back into your stitch there, and back. I'm going to do the same thing here. I just think it's not strong enough. So I'm just going to pop it back in through there. There it was for some reason. And just pop it through another section and weave it down to wherever you want to weave it down to. Whoops. I'm going to do that off air in a minute anyway. I just want to pop that through any back stitch for now, just to tighten it all up. I'm going to weave it off air. In the meantime, we're going to have a look where we are. So this is all done. All we need to do is weave in these ends later. That's fine. But now what we want to do, we've got this. You can leave it like that if you like. If you find your bag you're happy with it like that, you can. I don't like it. I want it to be stuck together like that. Now, I'm not sure, I think I might have mentioned that you could have counted to 20 or 20, whatever it is, 10, whatever before, but it was really important for you to have had the odd number. I did actually leave a little disclosure up the top when we did do the chains. You needed an odd number of chains, only because you want to attach this right flat bang in the middle. You don't want it to be crooked. You don't want it to sit like that when you've done it, right? You want it to sit right in the middle. And the bag looks really squashed now because I've been pushing it down into the table. I'll fix that up at the end later. All right, so that's what you want. So now you need 2 stitch markers for this part, not a lot. And across, we'll do the bottom one first, the one underneath your bag. From here, all you're doing is counting 17 stitches up. You're counting it from your first single crochet. It's about too far away. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Pop there for a minute. Okay, where's your other side? Now you're going to count 17 up and you're going to attach that to the 17th stitch. So you go here and you go 1, and where are we? Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Open up your stitch marker and pop it in that 17th stitch for now. All right, now you're going to the opposite side and you're going to count 17 up this way as well. So off you go. I might do it this way because I'm struggling to find 17 that way. 1 is better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'll do it this way, it'd be easier to fix up later. So there's your 17, yeah? You want to go straight into that stitch right there. 2 or 3 stitches off. I don't know if I can get that in. Right there. Oh, it's just splitting the yarn, of course it is. All right, so there you go. That's your bag right there. So what you want to do is grab another 2 stitch markers. You don't have to do this part. This is just helps you to keep it nice and steady and in place. There, grab another 2 right there. Again, this is not a necessary bit. You've got your 17 stitches. I'm worried about splitting them, but I'm not going to worry because this next part is just sewing. So, well, no, you do need to worry. All right, now check your bag and make sure that it looks even to you. You may have gone, let's see if I can bring this up a little bit. There you go. You may have gone off count, so it may not be even. So even it out, make sure it's all perfect. All right, so you've got your stitch markers in there, yes? Grab your, this is the best part, grab your 3 strands again. And yes, it has to be the 3 strands. Pass it through there. Give yourself, I don't know, a nice long doubled up strand like that. And just cut. This is how much you will need, right? That's what it's like doubled, yeah? We're not going to double it. We're going to make it just the 3 strands and not the 6, all right? So grab your bag and you're working from underneath, right? Oh, split the stitch there. We'll try this one here for now. You're working from underneath. I'll fix that stitch up in a minute. So you're popping your needle in your first stitch marker stitch and then in the stitch marker stitch to the other side of your bag. Oh gosh, what have I done there? Okay, there we go. Just bring your work up and through like that and pull it through. Now don't pull it through too much because you need your tail ends to work with later. So just leave that much of your tail end. Enough for your bag, the distance of your bag, if that helps. Now from here, this is the awkward part. You're going through the stitch trying to get the right focus here, guys. There we go. You're going through the top of the stitch of your next stitch and through the middle of your handle underneath. So give it a tug, but not too much because we haven't, just like that for now, because we haven't knotted this yet. I'm going to do that later. Turn your work a little bit, go back underneath, and then you go into your very next stitch. All right, I hope this is helping. Take out your stitch marker. So you really only need 3 stitches across and just pull it loop through, don't let the ends come in. Pull the loop through, being careful not to take that off, right? From here, we're going to go across this way. So what you're doing is, all right, pays to take out the stitch marker for now. All right, so what you're going to do here is pop your needle in the middle stitch there of that, and you want to pop it in the stitch behind there for now. All right, so in the middle stitch there and right in one of the stitches at the back. Pull that loop through. Yes, then turn your work, go through 1 stitch on that side and a stitch on the top. So you're actually just forming a little cross, yeah? So I pull that loop through. And this part is, like we did the opposite side there, we're going to do here. I might pay to turn it this way so you can see. Lots of threads of weaving in later. Pop it through the stitch, pop it through the middle, and just pull that loop through. Yes? Turn your work a little bit. And you're going to pop it through the stitch. Well, I've split that stitch, but it's there. Is it there? It's there. Pop it through the stitch on your stitch marker, like that, and a stitch on your work. I'm just wondering whether I pulled that stitch marker out. The right spot. No, I didn't right there. Pop it through. Oh, the stitch is splitting there. And the stitch on top. And just pull it through. Now just being careful not to grab those threads underneath. Yeah. From here, you're going directly into the middle and then straight into the opposite stitch. Just being careful with your threads at the back, like so. Yes. Then you're back to where you started from. Pop in that stitch and back into the stitch up the top. Being careful now not to pull those threads through. Yes. And just to finish off, you're going to pop into any stitch you like. Okay, I'm just going to pop into the stitch in the middle, pull the thread through, and there you go. You're actually done. Okay, so what you do, turn your work over. You probably didn't need such a long thread. And see these ends? You're only going to tie it in one knot only. All right. And then you're going to weave those ends this way and you're going to weave those ends that way. We're going to do that together. In fact, we can do this one now. I'm going to make this shorter because it's really long. We don't need that much. I like to give myself too much. That's my problem. All right. From here, what you're going to do is just find some places in the back. Now, it doesn't matter how badly you weave this under here. No one's going to see it for starters, but you want to keep neat as possible. And you can go through a lot of thicknesses. Just check the front that you can't see the needle, okay? So you don't want to be able to see that needle or you'll be seeing the threads. So you go one way and then you go another way. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's try that. There we go. Another way. And back the other way. Again, just for more. Oh, gosh, it's really super thick now. And you've still got another set of threads to do that. It's so thick that I'm going to check it, make sure it didn't come through the front, and it didn't. And there you go. Take that undone, give it a cut, join the other side where the other knot was, your other three ends. All right, here we go. That took me a while to thread there. All right, so grab your other three threads there and do pretty much exactly the same. Find some spaces to weave in. It's really tight now. You might want to find the opposite side and do that side instead. Weave those in right there. This is a shorter thread, this one. It doesn't matter too much because we've done so much reinforcement. Oh, that's nice and thick. Just check the front, make sure your needle is not showing. And it's not, I think that's plenty weaved in. Super thick. And there you go. Okay, whoops. Sorry, guys. All right, so the bag's all squashed from me squishing and squashing it. But let me just lift that up a little bit, but that's what you're looking at. How's that? And you can pop your arm just in there like so and trot along. And now if you wanted to, you can get one of your colours or something and do a little bow or something and put it up there. It's entirely up to you. You don't need to. All right, now you're not finished yet, guys, because remember this end right here, okay? That's just sitting loose. It's not even attached to the bag. And that handle is going to come undone. So what you need to do is do what we did before with the other sides where you go in and out and through the back and all that jazz, which I'm going to show you right now. Your stitch here is actually in this stitch here. So you need to grab your stitch right next to it. There. Believe it or not, that one there. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. That's where you need to pop your sewing needle. Pop it in there, pull it down. See how it closes it up? Go back into that stitch right there. The first one that your work is in. Pull it through, and there you go. Turn it over. Find a place to weave this in. I'm just going to pop it through any side stitch, making sure your needle doesn't show from the front. And then I'm going to weave that off air so it doesn't affect you. Go to all your ends. That one there is already attached. Remember that one was already attached. So we've actually started weaving that one there in. That's fine. Your next one, once again, already attached. We started weaving that one in. Good. And that one there, same. Okay, this one here, same. So all you really need now to do is to weave in these ends, guys. You have completed your bag. There's something we haven't done. Now let's pretend like I've weaved in all these ends, yeah? And let's do this. Eggy 1, eggy 2, eggy 3. Let's pop a couple of eggies over there. 1, 2, 3. How's that? Now, I haven't finished yet. We've got this here. Can go in here as well. That can go in one of the pouches. Yeah. And there's one more, my favourite, an Easter bunny. And there you go. Ta-da! There's your Easter bag. How cute is it? So now your family can head off through the garden collecting all the Easter bags like you saw in the promo. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and don't forget to weave in these last ends, by the way. And join us at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoon for our live, and it's 10 a.m. Saturday mornings for our lives as well. We have 2 lives a week. They are Melbourne, Australia time, by the way. We do have a lot of fun on our lives. We do discuss our projects that we made during the week. We discuss new projects. We sometimes be a little silly, and that's, yours truly. And there you go. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. And all I want to say right now is Happy Easter. Ciao for now.